let's do some work. Today it is time to do some serious work into the outlining, I guess, of Project Theft, which has been causing me way too much issues for a 3-book urban fantasy series with multiple POV. I say like I can do that easily in my sleep any other day of the year. Today we are going to be doing something called a story map for Project Theft. Now, for those of you who don't know what a story map is, I can't explain it very well, so I do apologise, but I will link in the description below the page that I'm currently using in order to do a story map. This is what I mean by a story map. Go on, be honest. You have seen this picture before, I know you have, most likely when you've been looking on Google to try and find answers to how to plot or how to outline your novel. Now, the point of a story map is to visualize how your main plot and your subplots work together. So you can see here at the bottom we have the main plot here of the Hunger Games, the 2 main subplots, which is obviously related to Prim and related to Peter. And here at the top you can see where the subplots interact with the main plot, and if you look carefully at all of the places where these subplots interact, you can see how they push both the main plot and the subplot along. So this is what we're going to do today, or at least what we're going to attempt to do today. That is basically a story map. It's so you can map out where all of your plot points and your plot lines are, and how they interact with each other and how they affect each other. So this has steps. I'm very notorious for not doing the exercises and stuff like this and going ahead and just doing it, but for the sake of this, let's read these steps and see what we're going to do. So step 1 is write out your scenes. I've done that. I've finally finished all of the scenes plotting for Project Theft. I think I have. Oh, damn. Okay, I have written out all my scenes. Okay, so the first step is to write out all of your scenes that you have in your novel. So here are all of the scenes that I have in Project Theft. Everything with the first draft on it is literally where I've just gone in and sort of did a very, very basic, this is what happens in the scene, like for writing purposes. The second step is to figure out the main story thread and the dramatic questions that go with each one. So the premise is that every story has at least one main plot thread and then 1 or 2 subplots. And each of these different plot threads has a dramatic question. These dramatic questions are what help propel the plot forward. So for example, in the Hunger Games, the main dramatic question is, will Katniss survive the Hunger Games? That is the main reason for the novel. The love subplot with Peter is a lesser dramatic question, but the dramatic question is, will Katniss love Peter back? That is the question we're asking as we follow this plot thread. These are the questions that your reader is asking themselves as they read the book. These are the questions that they want answering in regard to each of the different plot threads. So the third step is to sort out your scenes according to which plot thread that they belong to. So that is my first step. No, actually, let's head back, shall we? My first task is to figure out what plot threads I have within this novel. That would help me out a bit more. Because I can't use the Hunger Games ones because that would be pointless. Okay, so my main plot thread for Project Theft, can't talk and write at the same time, oh my gosh, is to rescue Lane's little brother, who is called Cole. That is the main plot. The different subplots I have within the novel is a character called Cambry. She's trying to get revenge on somebody who manipulated her in a not very nice way when she was younger. So she's trying to get revenge on them. Another subplot is Baron and his family. Without spoilers, this is the second subplot. And then, do I have a third subplot? No, we'll call it those 3 plots for now. So these are my 3 plot threads. So my main dramatic question is going to be, will Lane rescue her brother? The second, lesser dramatic question is, will Cambry get her revenge? And then my second lesser dramatic question is, will Baron win pride, I guess, from his family? Without any spoilers. Okay, so obviously all of these three questions do not really pertain to Lane, who is the main protagonist. Do they need to? I don't know. I don't know how it works with multi-POV, but for the sake of what I'm doing, these are the three main plot threads which occur through Project Theft, because Lane isn't just the only protagonist, but she is the main protagonist, so to speak. So my next job is to now figure out which scenes go with which plot threads, and once I've done that, we will move on and we'll see where we need to go next. It's really weird doing this. Like, I don't even know if Baron's plot thread is actually like one of the main plot points or one of the main subplots. I honestly don't know. I mean, it's a question that needs answering, but then Baron himself isn't as important to the plot, in my head at least, as the rest of the characters are. But he has more of an interesting, or I suppose intriguing, sort of subplot going along with him. There's two other characters. There's Avani and there's Matthew, and I suppose at least in book one, they don't really have a question about them that needs answering like all of the other three characters do. Am I just making it easy for myself? We're going to make it easy for myself for now, and we'll see how this works with these three plot threads and these three questions, and we'll see where we go from there. Okay, that was really weird doing that. I don't know why it was weird, it just was. It occurred to me halfway through doing this that I do technically have a third plot thread, but this third plot thread, or at least this third subplot, doesn't actually come into the novel fully until halfway through the story, but I do make allusions to it as I go along, so I might need to add a third, lesser dramatic question. So on their, I suppose, way to trying to figure out where Cole is and how to rescue him, they sort of discover that the leaders of the street are doing something they probably shouldn't be doing in regards to magic. My third lesser dramatic question needs to be, why did they kidnap Cole? Because as we go along, we see that things don't quite add up and things that don't make sense. So the question is, why did they kidnap him in the first place? So I have that, I've gone through, it's on the computer, so I've just literally put MDQ or LDQ 1 or 2 for all of the plot threads. I need to go through now and double check what is supposed to be my third lesser dramatic question and what scenes pertain to that. Next step it is. Step 4, draw your map. Now that you know what the scenes are, now that you know which scenes fall into what plot thread you need, you draw the map now and see where the different plot points intersect. Now, you know, the individual scenes of the Hunger Games are not here. It's just the main scenes which relate to the rest of the plot threads. So let me flip the page and, oh my God, let's try and draw this, shall we? Oh my God. Okay, let me do all 4 first. Okay. That was so weird. Woo! Wipe myself in the face with that. That was really weird. Yeah. Does it work best with this? Maybe not. Mainly because am I 100% sure on what all of these story threads are supposed to be? I don't know. Let's see. Here's my finished story map coloured in. It looks a lot better coloured in than not coloured in. These are the 4 dramatic questions that we are asking. I think they're the right ones. So we have our main subplot here, Cambridge here, which interacts with the main plot twice as we go along. Baron's subplot here, which interacts 3 times with the main plot. And then the 3rd dramatic question, which is why did they kidnap Cole, which intersects quite a bit, obviously, as it's very closely linked to the main plot. Now, something I've realised is that all 3 of the subplots, while they more or less play out on their own, they all intersect very quickly and in very short space here in Act 3, which is a fantastic indicator, which I'm very happy about, that all of the subplots somehow affect the way Act 3 goes, which is great. It's fantastic to me because it means that they're strong subplots. They work well on their own as they are all very separate. But when it counts, the actions that people do within their own subplots affects the main plot, not always in a good way. So I'm very, very glad that I discovered that, because I hadn't clicked it hadn't clicked in my head before I drew it out that this is how the subplots go. So I'm actually really happy I did this. It also helps that I know that these are the right dramatic questions to be asking, because they affect the main plot so much. They are separate enough so that they don't crowd or overtake the main plot, but they intersect with the main plot enough to push both the subplots forward and the main plot point forward at the same time. Cause and effect. Absolutely fantastic. So they are the right dramatic questions that I have. They are the right main focuses for the subplots that I have in my head, which is absolutely fantastic. I feel a little better about how the plot is going now that I've done this. But this was so fun, actually. It was really horrible to do because I was constantly, I'm doing it wrong, I'm doing it wrong, I'm doing it wrong. But it turned out okay. I need to make this a little bit neater now and stick it up somewhere proudly, because yay. I love being able to physically visualize my stories. It's why I use storyboarding. It's why I color code. It's now why, if I have a big enough story, I'm also going to story map, because having that visually on all of the main plot points and all of the main subplots there for me to see is actually really, really helpful. And even though if some things might not be quite in the precise space in regards to where they happen in the story, which is something that when I do this neater and actually pay attention to my scenes properly, I can do correctly. But it's really good to see where the subplots affect the main plot and where the subplots are, you know, their own specific scenes. So I had a lot of fun doing this. It's very, very helpful. More helpful than I thought it would be, to be fair. I was like, it's going to look pretty. It's going to look pretty and it's going to help me out. So that was me creating a story map for one of my NaNoWriMo projects, Project Theft. Let me know down in the comments below. Does this sound interesting to you? Do you think it would be helpful? Do you use any other techniques to help you sort out the plots and subplots of your story? Let me know down in the comments below, and I'll see you in my next video. Good thoughts and happy writing.